All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something pretty much all of us have been through, but nobody ever really teaches you how to handle: getting insulted at work. And look, this isn't just about hurt feelings. This is about your professional survival. So today, we're putting together a real practical playbook to help you handle this kind of stuff with strength and, a whole lot of dignity.
You know the feeling, right? You're in a meeting, or you get an email, or you're just talking to someone one-on-one, and bam, a comment that's just rude or unprofessional or way too personal. It just hits you out of nowhere. And for a second, it feels like the whole world just stops.
That one moment, it's so critical. It's a direct shot at your confidence, at your sense of safety in a place where you're supposed to be respected. And if you react with pure emotion, well, that can just make things worse. But saying nothing, that feels like you're just letting them get away with it. So, what you need is a game plan. And here it is. First, we'll break down the core problem, the professional's dilemma. Then, we'll get into the most important part, the first 3 seconds. After that, we'll learn how to respond instead of just reacting. Then we'll cover the long game. And finally, how to reclaim your own story. Let's do this. So, first up, the professional's dilemma. Here's the thing. The real challenge is that you have to deal with this immediate, totally human reaction while somehow keeping your cool and staying professional. It's a really, really tough balancing act.
The second that insult lands, your brain doesn't register that you're in a cubicle. It thinks you're under attack. It just floods your system with adrenaline, getting you ready to either fight back or run for the hills. And let's be honest, neither of those is a great career move.
Which brings us perfectly to our very first strategy, the first 3 seconds. This is all about winning that internal battle before you even open your mouth. So, the magic number is right here, 3. Just taking a deliberate 2 to 3 second pause is, no joke, your most powerful first move. I know it can feel like forever in the moment, but it's just enough time to stop that fight or flight instinct from grabbing the steering wheel.
Now, during that little pause, you're going to do 3 super simple things. First, take 1 slow, quiet breath. That immediately starts to calm your nervous system. Second, just be silent, intentionally. Don't rush to fill that space. And third, keep your face as neutral as possible. This combo signals control, not just to them, but to yourself. Okay, so you've created that little pocket of calm for yourself. Now we move into the next phase. Respond, not react. This is where you switch from pure instinct to pure strategy.
First, you have to quickly figure out what kind of insult you're dealing with. Is it a personal attack? Honestly, that usually says way more about their own stress and insecurity. Is it a rude comment about your work? Well, that's just unprofessional. Or is it public humiliation? That's a whole different level. A serious line has been crossed. Knowing which bucket it falls into tells you exactly what to do next. And this right here is the absolute key. Your goal is not to argue with them or defend yourself or explain why they're wrong. That just plays into their hands. The real goal is to calmly and firmly set a professional boundary. That's it.
So here's tool number 1, the professional redirect. If someone gets nasty about your performance, a simple phrase like this is perfect. It totally sidesteps the personal jab and yanks the conversation right back to where you're actually there to do, the work.
Tool number 2 is the assertive boundary. This is for when they've really crossed a line. It's not aggressive, it's just a statement of fact. You're calmly telling them what your terms are. You're saying, I'm here for feedback, but I'm not here for disrespect.
And finally, my personal favorite, silent power. Sometimes the strongest response is the shortest one. A simple, calm, noted, and then silence. It is so effective. It says, yeah, I heard you, but it also says, and it had absolutely zero emotional effect on me. It just shuts the whole thing down.
All right, you've handled the moment perfectly, but your work isn't done. Now we have to shift our thinking to the long game, because what you do after the incident is what's going to protect your career and your sanity down the road.
As soon as you can get away, write it all down. Be super specific. The date, the time, the exact words they used, verbatim. Who else was there, and exactly how you responded. Look, this isn't about holding a grudge. It's about creating a factual record that protects you if this becomes a pattern. Now, if this behavior keeps happening, you might need to escalate it. But when you do, you use that documentation. You go to HR or your manager and you use calm, neutral language. You're not there to report that your feelings were hurt. You're there to report a pattern of unprofessional communication. And last but not least, and this might be the most important part, let's talk about how to reclaim your narrative. The actual moment might be over, but that mental echo can stick around. You have to actively protect your own well-being. You have to hold on to this fundamental truth. Happy, secure, and mature people, they don't go around insulting their coworkers. It just doesn't happen. Their words are a reflection of their own stuff, their insecurity, their ego, their stress. It has nothing to do with your actual worth.
And there's a scientific reason this is so hard. Our brains are actually wired with something called a negativity bias. It means we're programmed for negative things to stick to us like Velcro, while all the positive stuff just slides right off like Teflon. It's why you can get 10 compliments in one insult, and guess which one you'll be thinking about all night. You literally have to fight your own brain's programming.
So how do you do that? You build a toolkit. Go vent to a friend you trust, someone outside of work. Write down how you're feeling, and then literally or metaphorically, just throw that piece of paper away. Actively make a list of your strengths, of things you've accomplished recently, and get up and take a walk, just to physically reset. These aren't just feel-good suggestions. They're vital actions to overwrite that negative loop in your head.
I want you to really let this sink in. You are not, and you will never be responsible for another adult's inability to act like a professional. Once you truly own that, you free yourself from carrying the weight of their bad behavior.
So, in the end, a workplace insult is a kind of test. But it's not a test of your value or your competence. It's a test of your resilience. And with this playbook, you now have the tools, not just to get through it, but to answer that test with a quiet confidence that proves your professionalism and, most importantly, protects your peace.